Alright, it is time to get the nonsense started for tonight. And, oh buddy, I feel weird. So, I forget if I said anything on stream past few days, but starting last Wednesday, I think it was, I was getting some, like, pressure in my ears, making it hard to hear out of my left ear. But we were having, like, some nasty storms come through. I figured it was just a side effect of that. Well, the rain came and went. The pressure stayed. So, I figured there was a waxy buildup that needed flushing out. So I called my doctor, got an appointment. Went to see the doctor today. And according to him, there was a little bit of wax in there, but otherwise looked fine. So he thinks there's sinus pressure on the inside pressing up against my ear. We think. And that's kind of where I am right now. And let me tell you, when I say this has fucked with my mental state a lot, it has fucked with my mental state a lot. Because, like, I do a lot of just kind of, like, singing to myself, like, along with music and shit on the radio when I'm driving around, running errands and shit. I can't even do that anymore because I hear my voice in my ear more than I hear anything else. And that is supremely distracting. And you will likely hear me just kind of stop and start at random because the echo in my ear is distracting me. Likewise, there is a very fine line between being inaudible, audible, and fucking painful now. Like, I have spent the last half hour basically listening to my playlist that I use for before stream stuff, and very gently tweaking my volume knob on my speakers to get something that is audible but not fucking painful. But yeah, it's been a long fucking weekend for me. And that's on top of the stress of the world and the fucking heat wave coming through. They really are. Anyway, let's fight some gods. I was planning on trying to get back into, like, voice acting now that we're out of the MSQ, but with my ear being the way it is, it's going to be a marvel if I can handle doing voices on Rosa's streams, so I wonder if they're doing a thing. Hi, Tataru. if I talk to you, are you going to give me the post-Endwalker dialogue? You sure are. That's funny. This is current Tataru and not past Tataru. I find that very amusing. I did not mean to skip that. Well, see, here's the thing, Nyx. He's a child. He is supposed to be like 12, 13, somewhere around there. Like, even Alphino and Alice are older than this kid. Hi now. Now? You feel you seem like you're a little triggered. Do I need to get a booster seat for you? I get one. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I mean, there are quests to do harder versions of both Bismarck and Ravana. This is not that, though. We are doing 3 new gods. Why is Kryl there? Kryl has not been introduced yet. Huh. Nyx, yeah, the Ravana. You know what? Fuck it. Real quick. Turn that off, turn that off. Why? Unrestricted. Firm. Trials. Heavensward. We might be doing things out of order, yeah. Oh no, I'm just showing, Nyx what Ravana looks like. I'm not doing the actual fight. You're not missing anything. The Sentai sword bug. Whoop. I forgot I need to actually target him. Okay. Just give me the bird's eye view of the arena, I guess. Really, camera? Where are you looking? Camera! Go to the next... I know iCam has, like, close-ups of the boss. If you would give me one of those, please. It's a little better, I guess. Omega Protocol camera? What? Anyway. I did not. Oh wait, or do you mean the guy that was like pulling the camera out farther than he should be? Yeah, okay, yeah. So we could see the entire fucking arena all at once. Okay. Okay. Anyway, yeah, this might actually take place after you meet Kryl. I forget when it is exactly that you meet her, like when she's introduced, so we might be spoiling ourselves on the MSQ. It's fine though. I do remember that, yeah. All right. As is law, there we are. That sounds unique, if nothing else. God, that thing is big. The squirrel is wearing the bear. Huh. That sure is a sentence I had to read. What? While... Okay. 1 second. I need to look this up. Oh. That is not at all what I was expecting. For anyone curious, I will put the link in chat. What in the Evangelion? Gods. Hold up. Oh, Jesus! Also, I feel like this text box is now looking at me after the joke I made. Look, it's been a long fucking weekend. I need some sort of outlet. I fully expect this to all come back at me the next time we do Ace Attorney. Don't worry. But I love Kryle. She holds grudges immediately. I love her. And just casually hacking an ancient, Allegan relic. It's fine. It's fine. Weird. Here, I thought there was gonna be somebody that wanted to come with me. I guess I'm doing this by myself. I say as I open my friends list. I forget if that's you now. Oh, no, that's absolutely valid. You punch your ticket to Sleepy Time Junction, then. How the squirrel wears the bear. Yeah, no, I feel you now. Oh, that's sure a diagram. Ugh. Okay. In we go. I almost scrolled down to extreme.
Disabling Sephiroth's restraints now. Good luck.
Yeah, so they reimagined the Fiend, you know, the big demon dude from 6, as a tree god. As, you know, representing both life and death. And, I'm going to say this now before the song even comes up, but the song for the second phase of the game actually caused a lawsuit that was eventually dropped, but a lawsuit nonetheless. Because Power Man 5000 heard it and called plagiarism. Again, the lawsuit was dropped, but I find it very funny. You'll see what I mean when we get there. Anyway. Huh. Well, GG, I guess. Never mind. You can hear the influence, though, right? Nix, I'm pretty sure you've heard at least one Power Man 5000 song since it was in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack. Look up the song Worlds Collide and then play it immediately before or after playing the Sephiroth theme. Because, like, it is very clearly an inspiration, let's say. Like, it is extremely hard to prove plagiarism and everything. But I find it very funny that that song sounds that close to that particular song. And it's, and yet the defense for the lawsuit was that Soken had never heard of Power Man 5000. Never heard any of their songs. It was just complete and total coincidence. Like, I don't think Soken plagiarized. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that. I do think it was just heavily influenced and inspired, even if he didn't realize it. But Yeah, no, that's same, Nyx. Like, it is very much inspired by, but not plagiarized, no. Yes, Nyx. What is it? Oh yeah. Now, Azazel has some great ambient music. And that sounds wonderful right now, Nyx. I would love to have cold feet. An enigmatic master that has knowledge of ancient Alec that nobody else has, and that particular formula enables creation magic. Gee, I wonder who his master is. Like, that is something we can piece together much more easily in hindsight. However, it is very funny to me that the revelations of later expansions make this way more obvious. Oh shit! I didn't expect this to have, like, the rest of them here with me. I forgot about this. I guess Urianger is going to pit his carbuncle against that while we carry on. Urianger in his fucking Pokemon era.
In the name of the Emperor!
Wait, that's the wrong way. Aw. I could have killed it before he blew up. No, they have to... Or... They force you to get in the bubble. Turning the heat on in June is a fucking wild thing to me. Also, I like that I'm just ignoring ads, even though, like, I'm actually level synced here. You done, buddy? A Pokemon made of flaming oil. I mean, anything you see with that particular hue of blue is made of ceruleum, which is effectively magic oil, which is what all of Garlean's Magitech runs off of. I'm not above stabbing you in the fucking back, dude. He sure is. There is a reason for what a Knuckle High is doing. A plot point that is fucking paid off in Endwalker, of all things. Like, post-credits Endwalker. That was fucking weird. There's no fate here, game. So what I think actually happened is, like, the fate spawned on top of me in Az's Law the instant I was teleporting. So it queued up the alert on the other side of the load screen. Like, that's my guess as to what happened. He's talking about the Void, aka Zero's world. Like, let me spend this for a second. We're gonna very quickly load up a trust. Gonna skip that. Because we will be back here once, you know, it's time to be, but... Also, Nyx, this music should sound familiar to you. It's the theme of the Lunar Subterrane from 4. It's not a one-to-one, obviously, but... You know what? Thancred's going to hate me for this, but... We're pulling a bigger group, Thancred. Do your tankly duties. So I'm forcing the bigger pulls with the thrust stuff because the longer a single fight goes on with the AI companions, the more damage they do. Oh, Thancred fucking died. Thancred, you piece of shit. Well, also just all of the AI companions are programmed to avoid AoEs, so... Also, I absolutely blame Thancred. I could have tanked that. He needs to get on my level. Because I actually know how to use AoEs, unlike Estinian. That's really the one downside to the AI companions. They aren't allowed to use AoE attacks for big pulls. There we go. That kept them in the fight, or in fight mode, so they should still have their damage buff. I'm not entirely sure why they don't use AoEs. I don't know if it's that, or if there's, like, some worry of, like, say Alice starts throwing out AoE spells. What if she accidentally pulls something that the player wasn't intending to pull, or something like that? Like, that's the only rationale I can think of. Like, really the answer is probably both and. Okay, gotta get through this chuckle fuck real quick. Turn him around. Fucked up my combo. I'm pretty sure you would, since that is one of the most infuriating parts of 4. Well, I almost got deleted. As did Alphino. Well, Can you tell it's been a while since I've done this dungeon? Okay. So the part I wanted to show is just past this boss. So,
the city is already overrun.
This is the world that a Knuckle High remembers.
First the villages and now the capital. Nothing is exempt from their avarice.
Like, all these monsters are born from the same tech that the Warring Triad are being caught up in. Which, it is just a wild thing to have that plot point come back, like, nearly 8 years later. And yes, this is Baron. Okay. Now that I've shown that off, am I in... Okay. I cannot... Fuck! Alright, who pulled? You fuckers. No, actually, I think that was Durante, who is a character you meet in Endwalker. Or they pull again. Also, just as a little thing to keep your interest peaked, Nyx.
Expect no mercy. To destroy you, I shall bring my all to bear. Come, warriors from beyond the rift.
Also, I love this version of the FF4 themed battle theme. It's so overwrought and I love it. Also, this is just a fucking gorgeous shot. Also, one last thing, because I find it very funny. First of all, Mount Ordeals. Mount Ordeals is in Rods at Han. But also, pay close attention to the music here. This is another remix of the FF4 Fiend battle, but
stayed the course, as I knew you would. As too will I. Come!
So, I have to ask, does this sound familiar at all, Nyx? Like this style of remix? So, fun fact, this was not actually composed by Soken. This was a guest composer. This is fucking Hyodane. So, like, you know that very old YouTube Flash animation of the four fiends from FF4? It's the guy that did that made this. Like, that is on the level of Toby Fox getting to do music for Pokemon. Like... Which, by the way, just... this whole song is a fucking bop, and it goes places. Anyway. All that aside, now that I have thoroughly derailed everything, back to this. Not in fact transmat. I mean... So... the model for Rubicante in 14 actually reminds me of the design for Yubel in Yu-Gi-Oh! Which, very famously, is extremely physically non-binary. Like, half of their body is feminine, the other half is masculine. Like, one boob and everything. So, like, I can see why people, draw him like that, but also, he is very much a Ken doll down there. So, yeah. Unless you get the mod. There is a mod to just give him a dick. Yeah, pretty much. Like, here, let me pull up an image for Yubel real quick. I have to try and find specifically the Japanese version of the art, because it did get censored in the West. For very obvious reasons. Because the West is dumb, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Was localized by 4Kids initially. Here, I'll use the image that of Yubel that shows up in the actual anime itself. Because it's far more pronounced there than even on the card. So, like, that is what I'm talking about with Yubel. This. Yeah. Anyway. Time for the second of the triad. The one thing about Az's Law that I wish actually would change is that Az's Law needs an Aethernet network. Because it is very tedious to warp in down there and fly all the way up here. Nope, it does not. It has the one Aetherite point, and that's it. Like, if I can hit the right button. Like, this is as zoomed out as I can get the map, and it barely fits. And you have the one teleport point right there, with quests and stuff all the way down here. It's not nearly as bad if you're just questing in the zone and just spend a lot of time here for a bit, which I have definitely done. But when you're just like coming back to it for stuff like this, it gets very tedious. Yeah, by the time you get to Tiamat in the MSQ, like, you saw how fast the MSQ just kind of blazed through Az's Law. All of those quests had the Aether Currents. Like, there were no Aether Currents to get on the map. Yeah, like, it has those, like, matter transferal points like you go through in the MSQ. But, yeah, otherwise, just that guided tour that, you know, takes you through the map entirely up to Tiamat. When you get to Midgard Stormer becoming a mount, you have flying in Az's Law. It is one of the fastest zones to actually get flying in. It really is, yeah. I want to say this is one of the first zones that was designed with flight in mind. Also, I love the look of these fuckers. Yes, this is Sophia, the goddess. It's fine, I can solo it.
I leave the goddess in your capable hands. Just watch out for her worshippers.
So, like how Sephiroth was reimagined to embody life and death as a tree, Sophia has been reimagined to represent good and evil in balance. Each of the warring triad is a dichotomy of some kind. Why am I doing this combo?
Know the weight of your souls.
Also, note the guardrails are now gone.
Can you bring sin must be balanced with
Also, speaking of bops, this song is great. Unfortunately, you're not going to hear much of it. Oh yeah, she just turns the arena into the scales. And if you let her live, she will start dropping meteors into the scales. And you have to, like, check to see how many meteors are hitting each side of the scale to figure out which way the scale's going to tip. And if you are too close to the edge, you can and will just go off the edge. It is extremely intense. It's one of the extremes that I still have trouble soloing. Now, real quick, I'm curious. Can I solo Sophia Extreme easier as Warrior 100? This is purely just for the sake of my own curiosity, so indulge me here. I have to actually remember mechanics and shit, though. Okay. Guardrails are down already, by the way. Yep, nope, I wasn't paying attention to which side came up first. The slide in Extreme is way more intense as well. Okay. Hurdle 1 cleared. There we go. Okay. I still can. Like, that was actually the easiest I have done that solo. because I was able to kill her before she started fucking with the scales again. Anyway, back to Mordona. But also, Nyx, if you want to hear the full version of that song, look up the song Equilibrium. I feel like it would be right up your alley. The last is fire and ice. Less metaphysical, maybe, but Zervin is also a god of war. So having two elements eternally fighting for dominance, yeah, kind of feels a little more poignant in that framing. That said, he is very much more a god of war with fire and ice magic. His dichotomy is the weakest of the three, unfortunately. However, his fight is the coolest of the three, ironically enough. Yeah, but this time we're kicking ass together. Also, I want to see more of these guys. So, it's honestly unclear as to how some people resisted Zervan and others didn't. My take on the situation is that because Zervan is a war god, he recognized the warriors. Like, anybody with a true warrior spirit in his mind, anyway, was spared the tempering. While the weak were tempered into warriors. And I feel like Zervan, in that moment that he woke up, saw Hydrus as a true warrior, and rather than temper, just took a swing. Because, like, how did those other two Imperial guys not get tempered when the two they were fighting did? Sort of deal. And, like, they were clearly exhausted, but they fought off all the rest of the guys that had been sent in and did get tempered. Which brings up the question of, like, were these guys just kind of just better at fighting than the others? And, you know, yeah, had he better gear, he might have survived that, which is wild to think. But yeah, like, considering everything else we know of the primals, there is some conscious thought into who gets tempered and when. Like, for Garuda and Ifrit, it was absolutely a conscious choice to try and temper the Warrior of Light. While for Titan stuck only to the kobolds that he viewed as his children, and fuck the rest of them. Which is why, like, the Company of Heroes, who didn't have the Echo at all, could fight Titan and win. So, yeah, dude did not have magical superpowers. He was just that fucking good. That said, I have long considered a possibility with the Garleans that kind of makes sense thematically. So, this is only going to make sense to a few people without explanation, so I'll explain. In Jujutsu Kaisen, bear with me, the big kaiju monsters are made of cursed energy. Basically, all the negative emotions that humans generate congeal, turn into yokai, you know, various horror-themed monsters, etc. And the people that fight them also use cursed energy, so negative energy and whatnot, to fight them. However, there is a very rare section of Jujutsu sorcerers who cannot manipulate cursed energy. Instead, they have what is called a heavenly pact. Basically, a pact in Jujutsu Kaisen is very much a contract that you would see in, like, classic D&D with a devil, where it is, like, very much annotated legalese. If you do this, you get this boon. If this does not happen, something bad is gonna happen. But rather than being enforced by a demon, it is enforced by the universe itself. So, like, if you make a pact and say, you cannot betray me or under the threat of death, say, and whoever agrees to that pact decides, you know what, no, fuck you, and tries to betray you, their heads will just fucking explode before they get to pull the trigger. A heavenly pact, however, is one that starts at birth. And you lose the ability to manipulate cursed energy, see cursed spirits and whatnot, but in return, you just become a superhero. Like, to the point that even, like, as comically overpowered as Gojo is in universe, that he has, like, kind of broken containment as one of the most overpowered characters in manga and anime in general, he struggles to deal with somebody with a heavenly pact. Like, think like Rock Lee versus Gaara, that sort of thing. Except turned up to 80 bajillion. Hi, Cry. How you doing? I bring all this up to posit that the Garleans have traded in their ability to manipulate ether normally, and in return are just physically stronger and more agile and shit like that. So really, if I see the bit explosion is coming. There we go. Anyway. But like, the idea of like Garleans just having Magitech on top of just their superior physical prowess would make a lot of sense in how they built a damn near global empire in fucking 50 years. Also, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Hitsu. Hitsu, enjoy that sub, if you're even here. Yes. Thank you for the support, Cry. Also, guys somehow killing Asians off screen, yes. They did have help with that, yes. But, like, even, like, Asian Solus Sauce Galvus would have had trouble maintaining an empire like that as it grew that fast without some fuckery. Because, like, one of the things that you have to keep in mind with Solus is that he was actively hiding his nature as an Asian. So the instant the Emperor walks out and starts casting spells, the entire empire would turn on him. Yeah, I've seen a lot of issues with Twitch on that side, Cry, so if you hear this, thank you for the support, and I will definitely be enjoying shit. Anyway, back to this. All right. Wrong button.
There's been enough sacrifice for one day. We must take the chance we've been given and defeat Zervan now.
That's Kryle. She was the voice at all of the Warring Triad trials. Also, notice just how the arena is crumbling around us. I'm actually gonna slow my DPS here. Because I want to show off his big channel attack. Come on, do the thing. Not that thing. Here we go.
Bear witness to my will. Bow to my infallible judgment.
Yeah, that's just a fucking cool move. But yeah, you can absolutely skip that big attack and thus not get the true version of his song, actually. Also, like, this is the first glimpse we have seen at a potential look for Mericidia. Yes, that is exactly why people think that. Like, they very neatly fit into the, childhood friends, trope. Yes. That, Elidibus. So yeah, this right here is why I feel like the Warring Triad should be required. Like, a Knuckle High being part of the Scions is a big fucking deal. A big fucking deal that comes back in Shadowbringers and Endwalker. And the fact that they cannot use him in the MSQ because he is part of quote-unquote optional content is a travesty. The same will go for another character we meet way down the line. So yeah, that's the Warring Triad. That said, that's all that's in New Game Plus, but that's not all there is to the Warring Triad stuff. Like, in order to unlock the New Game Plus stuff, you have to find a Knuckle High later on. Because he just kind of starts hanging out in Amaric's office for a bit and has a couple quests where he talks about some more lore. But yeah, no, he is part of the team officially. Anyway, that said, I am going to make the executive decision that the next part that we tackle is part 3 of the actual MSQ. And then we will do the Alliance raid and raids between parts 3 and 4. Mainly because I don't want to have another issue where, like, we encounter somebody in the optional content that we should have met in the MSQ first. Like, we are now going to go introduce Kryl properly now. So... Yeah, it really is.
Thank you for coming. I wish to speak with you both in a place where privacy was assured.
We quite understand. What was it that you wished to discuss?
With my father's passing, the seat of the Archbishop lies vacant. And so, in accordance with canon law, I have assumed his responsibilities. I should stress that this is a temporary measure. It was never intended that the Lord Commander of the Temple Knights serve in this capacity indefinitely. Quite the opposite. The statutes specify that I should surrender my powers as soon as a conclave of the senior clergy and the high houses have named a new archbishop. But in light of recent events, that would not seem appropriate.
I confess I did not expect you to divulge quite so much quite so soon. The details of the Archbishop's plans, perhaps, but the true origin of the war and all it entails?
I too had concerns. But when the Warrior of Light is witnessed returning to the capital upon the back of a dragon, one's options are rather limited. Mayhap I could have concealed certain details, but for how long? And at what risk? Should the truth have come to light in the meantime, how would the people have viewed my silence? After 1,000 years of lies and secrecy, I could not well abuse their trust and hope to be believed. The time for deception has passed. I only wish the people agreed. That some would deny the truth I had anticipated, but not this many. And among the few who acknowledged that my father had to be stopped, no small number questioned our methods.
If they suspect a coup, it will not be long before some turn to violence.
It has already begun, and that on both sides. Men and women of the cloth are being harassed in the streets. Some have even been assaulted in the broom. Hilda and her people have formed a watch to help us maintain order. But such measures will not prevent the unrest from spreading.
For all our talk of peace, the people remain frightened and confused. For their sake, we must bring the Dragonsong War to a definitive end.
And we should be glad to help you, Sir Emmerich. But what precisely would you have us do?
We wish to treat with the dragons of Annex Shrine. To that end, I would trouble you for an escort and an introduction.
Annex Shrine? You would speak with Vidofnir then?
We must needs open a dialogue between our peoples. Acting as my representative, Lucia will extend an invitation to their leader, that she might visit us here in Ishgard. Were she still with us, I would of course have beseeched Isel's assistance in this matter. But as she is not, I must ask that you aid us in her stead. Will you do us this favor? Thank you, my friends. Lucia, I leave the rest to you.
In the wake of the Archbishop's fall, the nation of Ishgard trembled, the faith of her people shaken to its very core. For 1,000 years had they fought and died, certain of the justice of their cause, only to be told that their holy war was born of the sins of their forefathers. What then for those brave men and women, thus stripped of their righteousness but to despair, to deny the truth and decry its speakers? And what then for those whom they defamed but to hope on, to have faith in a brighter tomorrow? A tomorrow in which man and dragon might live together in harmony, then as distant as the very stars in the heavens. Yet while we dared to hope, deep within his lair the enemy lay, gathering his strength. Nidhogg, now possessed of his 2 eyes and the body of the Azure Dragoon, prizes to which he had laid claim at the very hour of the hero's triumph. As desperately as we sought the solace of peace, the great worm craved the misery of war. Nor was he alone in his misbegotten desire.
No, I wonder how many people see me going through MSQ stuff with an Endwalker relic weapon and wonder what the fuck is going on. I mean, it doesn't really affect me either way. It's just like, every time I tell people I'm doing New Game Plus stuff, people are like, wait, 14 has New Game Plus? Nyx, consider that for every person that walks around in normal-ass outfits, there's 5 people that walk around dressed like Sentai people, or chicken suits, or Moogle suits, or just naked with a chicken head, or frog suits, etc. Like, if you watch any streamer do, like, a big trial at the end of an expansion, and if they're not going with just, like, people that they know, or whatever, you will almost always see at least one person wearing the most ridiculous getup. Those weirdos sometimes include even the NPCs, exactly. Like, never forget, Amaric went around dressed as a blue fucking elephant. I mean, Hildebrand is fucking normal compared to some NPCs I've seen. Horse-Font did wear a horse head helmet, yep. And there's always Godbert, yup. I mean, all the dragons do, really. I mean, I fear Godbert, but, like, if Godbert put the fear of God in me, his wife puts the fear of Cthulhu in me. Well, I mean, both Hraesvelgr and Nidhogg's brood have the same looks to them. Because Hraesvelgr and Nidhogg are effectively twins. So it would make sense that their kids look like palette swaps of each other, effectively. I do appreciate that Lucia and Vidofnir immediately hit it off and start making jokes at each other. I mean, that's also just a feature of some dragons. Like, if you notice, Nidhogg has no lips at all. All of his teeth are on display, and they are all very gnarly. Oh good, it's daytime. Excellent. And now for the proper introduction to Kryle. And why she is such a fan favorite. Because, oh buddy, is this a hell of a first impression.
terribly, terribly sorry to have kept you all waiting.
You need not apologize. We arrived but a moment ago ourselves. Pray, allow me to introduce Kryle, who has recently come from the Sharlayan motherland. She has generously offered to assist us.
Oh, please, think nothing of it. A trip to Eorzea was long overdue. You must be the Warrior of Light. Yes, you certainly do look the part. A pleasure to meet you at last, miss. And who is that I spy but young Alpha No Levieux himself? I dare say someone's grown an ilm or two in my absence. Or are those lifts in your boots?
We, Miss Kryle and I met at the studium years ago. I shall forever be indebted to her for her sage guidance.
Kryle is Alphino's senpai.
It was no small task keeping him out of trouble, believe you me. The youngest ever to enter the studium, him and his sister, 11-year-old prodigies. Suffice it to say, social graces were not among his list of talents. Striding up to his seniors on his first day, head held high. What was it he said again?
Thank you, Kryle.
For what? I haven't finished yet. Would you care to attempt a more dexterous deflection?
Mayhap we should save this delightful conversation for a more fitting occasion, when pressing matters do not demand our undivided attention.
A bit much, but better. I can tell you have been putting your skills to use here in Eorzea. Henceforth, I trust you will dazzle me with your eloquence at the first time of asking.
Within seconds, she is raking him over the coals, and she never stops. And I love it. It's so good. Oh, Kryle absolutely shoved him into lockers.
Right, on to more pressing matters. Finding Minfilia and the other missing scions.
I gather you have new information to share with us.
A new approach, actually. Tataru recounted the tale of your escape, and it gave me an idea. Simply put, assuming Thancred left some manner of trail when you whisked him away, as is almost always the case with teleportation magics, I am confident I can find and follow it.
Then what are you waiting for?
The wherewithal to do it. The fact is, my abilities aren't quite up to the task, not in themselves anyway. If I had Master Matoya's crystal eye, on the other hand...
Then let us all call on her forthwith. I think it best that you explain your plan to her in person.
I keep forgetting I just have a fucking motorcycle. Also, Nyx, do you have any other ideas as to what that might be over there? In the bubble? I can tell you it's not that. Like, Sid did mention it's a primal. The question is, which primal? And I do believe, if I'm remembering your play history right at least, It is a summon in games that you have played. It does not appear in 4, but I believe you've played 7, right? And it was definitely in 7. I love the Kryle's just like, I've heard some really flattering stories, some not so flattering, and just was like, yeah, they're all true, especially the ones that aren't flattering. They really would be.
Oh. Is that trouble I smell? Or did you forget to wipe your boots on the way in?
Forgive us, Master Matoya. We will be sure to wipe them on the way out. And may I say how glad I am that age has not yet deprived you of your senses.
Ever so quick-witted, aren't we? To the detriment of your manners. Well, out with it then. What do you want?
Pray, allow me to introduce myself, Master Matoya. I am Kryle, of the students of Baldessian. I hope you will excuse our unannounced visit.
Baldessian, you say? Ah, yes. The old coot set up shop on the Isle of Val, didn't he?
Regrettably, our order's headquarters and the isle itself were obliterated by a magic of immense power. I have the blessing of light to thank for my own preservation.
Kryle, you too possess the Echo.
Well, yes, of course I do. Our order is devoted to uncovering the mysteries of Hydaelyn and interpreting her will, particularly through the study of her gift to us. It was in the course of these studies that I met and subsequently befriended Minfilia. She and I have rather a lot in common.
I had no idea.
You weren't supposed to. Not that I wanted to deceive you, you understand, but precautions had to be taken.
Yes, yes, that's all well and good, but you still haven't told me why you're here.
The students of Baldessian are gone, and there is naught I can do to change that. But the science of the Seventh Dawn can yet be restored, and my dear friend found. You have in your possession an ancient crystal of light, one you call your crystal eye. I believe I can use it to focus my abilities and locate one of the missing scions.
And there I was, thinking you might want to make use of my years of experience. Oh, wait here.
Long did I ponder the nature of this crystal and its familiar radiance, but never did I suspect it was a crystal of light.
Fun fact. The orb shape and the pillow under it are a callback to the UI of FF1, because the Warriors of Light's crystals were orbs in 1, and they had little, like, pillow cushions in the UI to track your progress. And yes, Nyx, that is Alexander over there. And yes, also where Matoya was introduced.
On the cusp of an umbral calamity, souls blessed with the power of the Echo invariably appear. To aid these, her chosen warriors, Hydaelyn bequeaths to each a slither of her strength in the form of a crystal of light. But as her strength wanes, so too does the potency of her gifts. This crystal, born of an earlier era, is infused with a power far greater than those of this age.
You could travel the length and breadth of the land and not find a crystal even a fraction as pure. Its value is beyond measure, as are the risks inherent in its use.
No two manifestations of the Echo are alike. I, for example, can converse with beings of every shape and size, excepting beasts, contrary to what others would have you believe. Language has nothing to do with it, of course. Rather, I am sensitive to the whispers of the soul. Their intent, their very essence even, the traces of which serve to guide the elementals to Y'shtola.
So, fun fact about that dialogue, that's a reference to FF5, where that version of Kryl absolutely just talks to animals all the goddamn time. Like, she talks to chocobos, she talks to moogles, she talks to dragons. Like, it's a running thing. So, the fact that this Kryl can talk to everything except animals is very funny to me. In FF5, well, the look that this hoodie is taken from is the white mage in FF5. Like, Kryl in FF5 as a white mage has, like, the animal hood ears. But as for her class in this game, she doesn't actually have combat until Dawn Trail, where she becomes a Pictomancer.
Far-fetched though it may sound, I believe that with your crystal eye, I may be able to pick up where they left off and follow the remaining trail to Thancred. That is, if I have your permission.
Talking about 5, yeah. A Beastmaster is a job there, but...
Well, the poor sod's not going to find himself. So, as long as you don't drop it or take it out of my sight, you may do with it what you will.
Thank you, Master Matoya. Then let us begin. From the Black Shroud, the trail continues to the north and west, towards a mountain, the foot of Som Al. It was a near thing, but he was not deposited within the rock, I think.
The hunters of Tailfeather know those lands well. I say we begin our search there.
Also, the beginnings of Alphino as an artist. And yes, Nutkin incoming. Yeah, that's a good point. Alphino? Buddy. Boobola. Cuppy Cake. Phrasing. Ishtola? You have my permission to knee him in the dick. It's weird being nostalgic for this area, but God, if I'm not.
Who else could be? Thancred! It could be Thancred! We must hurry!
Remember these guys.
This day, we reclaim the reins of history. This day, we rid ourselves of the Ascians forever!
Fools playing at heroes, all of you. Is this how you believe you can save your world?
We can and we will, Ascian. You shall see. Or perhaps you will not! So you are the warrior of light, the savior of Eorzea.
Also, Nyx, you should recognize this voice. You've heard it before in this game. Later on in the story, but you've heard him.
It's a wonder you didn't come sooner, what with the primal and all. Lost a step, have we?
Lewis, I am this close to timing you out for that. You fucking nerd. How dare you?
Have care. The ether moves strangely around him.
It would seem we share a common enemy. Mayhap you would tell us who you are.
Shall we show them? Not very sporting of you to interrupt, but so be it. Mark well our faces, warrior of light, for we are the warriors of darkness, walkers of a different path, and we shall meet again.
Later, Ardbert.
Warriors of Darkness? Really?
Thancred, are you all right?
Pleasantries can wait. I'd rather not be here when the Nath arrive. Agreed?
So yeah, this is where Ardbert is first introduced. Like, it's not Spot the VA, it's Spot the character. Because Ardbert is just introduced casually like 6 years before Shadowbringers.
Suffice it to say, our reunion was not at all as I pictured it. Waiting until the last instant to join the fray. 'Tis plain you have not lost your appetite for the dramatic.
My appetite for the dramatic? Have you forgotten the circumstances of our parting? The heroic last stand, the tunnel filling with light, and then... Had I known you intended to use forbidden magics to deliver me to some god's forsaken wilderness, I would have thanked you in advance.
Thancred.
If nothing else, you might have warned me that I would emerge from the live stream in the all-together.
And there it is. The most famous shot from this expansion. The censorship nutkin.
Eventually, I managed to fashion knives from some obsidian I found, and set about hunting for meat and hides. Given that I'm not all that skilled in leatherworking, it's probably for the best that I met the Vath before I was reunited with you.
So you were the fleshling clothed in skins of whom the storyteller spoke?
A description which fit me as ill as the skins themselves. Happily, I was able to trade with the Vath for garments better becoming a man of refinement. From them, I learned of Ravana, and of the great warrior who had once laid him low.
And thence did you conclude that were you to track the Primal's movements, it would surely bring you into contact with the Scions once more?
It seemed a reasonable assumption. I could think of no one else with your enthusiasm for slaying beastmen gods. Until now, that is.
Ah, yes. The self-proclaimed warriors of darkness. 'Tis only fitting that they stand in opposition to the warrior of light, I suppose.
I glimpsed the leaders past, if only for a moment. They were confronting a man in black. An Ascian, I think.
If these warriors are capable of doing battle with Ascians and Primals both, they must be possessed of powerful protection. Protection not unlike the Echo.
Actually, I think that's where I'm going to call things for tonight. I need to let my ear get some, rest, I think. So, weather and everything else permitting, I will not be joining this fate, but weather and, everything permitting, Sink and I will be starting Resident Evil 6 tomorrow, and then this will be back on Thursday. I do not know if Rosa's planning to stream on Friday because the heat wave is moving through us now and we'll be getting to them by the end of the week. So, they might be just hunkering down and keeping cool for this week. I do not know at the moment. But in the meantime, let us see who's live that we can raid. I see Alive is doing some Pokopia. Oh. Alright. So, thank y'all for coming and hanging out. Until next time, y'all have an excellent evening. Take care, and I will catch you all later.